So I know I said I was going to do a video about the crazy drama that at my old job, and I just haven't had time. So now I'm sitting in the parking lot doing it. Maybe nobody, I don't think anybody's out here. I'm way in the back. They'll probably think some weird person talking to themselves. Yeah, that's kind of true. So I got this job working for this husband and wife. It was a small business. It doesn't matter what industry because I'm a bookkeeper, so I can pretty much work anywhere. Anyway, so I got this job. It was exactly what I was looking for. A smaller place that was flexible, and it didn't really necessarily require me to work 40 hours a week, but I could still get paid full salary, which is awesome. Everything was fine for the first year, even the first couple of years. It was great. I became really good friends with the wife, and they treated me well, and I liked everybody there. I mean, I think everybody got along. Everybody I worked with got along. And then they decided to get a divorce. I shouldn't say they decided to get a divorce. The husband held a gun to the wife's head. But obviously, because of that fact, it's not going to be a normal divorce just because of the fact that he held a gun to her head. So the divorce started, and the very first thing was neither of them could hire or fire anybody without the other person's approval, because they would be getting back at each other by firing certain people, like me, for example, because I was friends with his wife, and so of course he automatically didn't like me. I think he kind of blamed me for everything that happened because I don't know why. The first thing was that he couldn't be at the work location if she was there because she had a restraining order against him. So they had to be there at separate times. She was there one morning, and his dad shows up because he couldn't be there. And his dad he stands there and just is staring at her. And his son is on the phone with him while he's standing there just kind of staring at her. And I'm there too. And she calls the cops because he's basically intimidating her. He's having his dad come in and intimidate her. And I don't know the details of the restraining order, but I don't think he was allowed to be on the phone. Maybe he was. I don't really know the details, but whatever they were doing was not cool. And the cops came, and they took him out. He wasn't cooperative for sure with the cops, and they did search him, and I believe they handcuffed him. They asked him to leave and not do this anymore. They asked both him and his son not to do this anymore. And that was the end of that part of it. He's the kind of person that was everything would be running smoothly. He wouldn't come in to work and everything would be running smoothly. Everybody's getting along. Everything's going fine. And then he would show up and everything would just go to crap. He wanted to micromanage everybody, but at the same time, he would just disappear for months and then come in and then be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And standing over people and trying to tell people what to do. It's you're not even involved in the business anymore. You're not. You barely are here, but when you are here, you want to tell everybody what to do, but we're fine. This place is running smoothly. We're doing fine. We don't need you. But he was very much wanted to be in control of everything. Everything was off and on, crazy 1 minute and then fine the next minute. It went like that for a long time, for months. And then near the end, he decided that he wanted to fire me. And so he texted me and he said, "You're fired, don't come in." And normally I would not. I would be fine, whatever. I could find another job. But I was friends with her, like I said, and I didn't know if she was going to get the business in the divorce, and I didn't want to totally screw her over, because if I leave, then nobody gets paid, because I do payroll, so nobody gets paid. The bookkeeping doesn't get done. I mean, who knows what he could do. So I was like, whatever, dude. Because I already knew, he's just off his rocker. So I was like, I'm just ignoring this. And I just went in the next day after he texted me and said I was fired. And I get in that morning and he calls the manager who can fire people. So the manager had permission to hire and fire people. He was like the only person that could. He calls the manager and says, you need to fire her right now. And the manager was like, no, I'm not going to fire her. Like, what? For what? The manager says, I'm not going to do that. And he just kept saying, you need to fire her right now. And so the manager was like, I'm tired of this, because he was dealing with all of this too. And he's like, I'm so tired of this. I'm quitting. I'm not coming back. And he just left. He left. He was gone. He quit. And so I was there at the front counter running the place by myself all day without him. And then I go out to my car in the afternoon, and the owner, the husband, truck is parked behind my car, blocking me in. He is standing out by the street, won't come in. Somebody comes in and goes, oh, he called the cops on you for trespassing because you don't work here anymore. And I was like, really? Like, I just ran this whole shop all day, and now you're gonna call the cops and say I'm trespassing? You let me stay all day, and now you're gonna do that? Whatever. So it still makes me mad. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna call the cops on him because he won't let me leave. I don't know the rules. I don't know all the laws, but I'm pretty sure if somebody's trespassing and they want to leave, you have to let them leave. Like, you can't be like, no, I'm going to keep you here until the cops get here because you were trespassing. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, so I called the cops on him and I said, he won't let me leave. He's blocking me in. So I think somebody told him that, and he decided he was going to move his car so that when the cops got there, they didn't see that he was blocking me in. I actually got a picture of it, but it doesn't really matter because the cops didn't give a crap. They got there and they were like, this is sounds like a you problem. Said that to him, and there's nothing I can do about it. And so that was that. I mean, nothing really happened. I actually tried to get a restraining order against him myself, and they basically said, unless he physically hurts you, there's no way you can get a restraining order. So then shortly after that, he decided to come in and have a meeting with everybody, but he tells me that I'm not allowed to be in the meeting. So, I'm going, and I'm recording it too. And so I go to the meeting, and I'm like, he's like, you can't be at this meeting. And I'm like, I'm part of this business and I'm at the meeting. So what are you going to do? All right, I'm back. It's the afternoon. Actually, it's the evening. I had to stop because somebody from work was calling me and I needed to go in. Anyway, so I went to the meeting, and he tried to say I couldn't be at the meeting. And I was like, I'm being at the meeting and I'm going to record the meeting. And so he didn't like that. He tried to grab my phone out of my hand because he knew that I was recording it. And I was like, you can't take my phone. No, you can't take my phone. And just basically backed away from him. And he just left it at that because everybody was out there at that point. So in the meeting, he says, oh, I appreciate every single one of you except Rachel. He literally, those words literally came out of his mouth. I wish I still had the recording. I really went back and looked for it and I can't find it. It might be on my iCloud or something like that, but probably not. Anyway, so he said, yeah, I appreciate all of you except Rachel. And then proceeded to say, I don't want any of you listening to anything she says. I don't want you taking any direction from her. She's not allowed to talk to the customers. She's not allowed to answer the phone. And so then had them basically watching me all day so that I couldn't talk to any of the customers and I couldn't answer the phones. I mean, I probably should have just been done at that point. But like I said, I wanted to stay for my friend because I didn't know if she was going to get the business in the divorce. Then I didn't want her to inherit this business that he just totally tanked, right? So I stayed, but it ended up with our divorce that he insisted on having everything. He wanted the house, the property they had. He wanted both of their businesses. He wanted everything. He wasn't going to accept anything less than that. And she was just ended up spending so much money that she was finally like, fine, you can have all of it. Like, obviously he had to buy her out of it, her half of it or her portion of it. He ended up getting it. And I found a job in about, I don't know, 2 days. And I just said, I'm done tomorrow. I went in one last day because it was like payroll day and I wanted to make sure that everybody got paid. So I went in one last day, and he was like, oh, can I sit with you while you do the payroll and learn how to do it? And I'm thinking, he's not going to learn how to do it in one day or in like an hour. And I wasn't nice. And I was like, I wasn't going slow. I wasn't really showing him what to do, because why should I be nice to you at this point? Now, all of a sudden you realize that you need somebody to do this for you. Like, thanks for treating me like crap all this time. And now you expect me to be nice? Please. I was done after that. I just started my new job right away. I just told him I could start as soon as possible, and I quit his job. And then I did hear through the grapevine that he was going to try and sue me for not giving 2 weeks notice, except that I'm in Washington State and it's an at-will employment. So there's no requirement to give 2 weeks notice when you quit, just like there's no requirement for the employer to give any notice when they fire you. So I was like, okay, you can try, but pretty much probably not going to happen. So that's pretty much all of it. There were other small things that I'm sure I could talk about. Weird things that he did, like he would block the doorways so that I would have to like squeeze by him. He was just kind of sketchy in that way. And there was probably a lot of stuff that could be considered sexual harassment, but the industry that we were in was a very male-dominated industry and very inappropriate in general. So it was like something you kind of get used to. But things like he would say, I'm the eye candy of the office, or if I was vacuuming the rug, he would make some comments about, oh, it's a woman's place to vacuum or whatever, some dumb thing like that. And would always ask me to make the coffee. There were very few women working there. It was me, his wife, and then one other woman that was working there. So, and we were the ones that he always wanted to do the cleaning or the coffee making or answering the phone or making the appointments. Yeah, so yeah. Anyway, so glad to be done with that. But I also am now having drama at my new job, and sometimes I'm like, that TikTok sound plays in my head, is it me? Am I the drama? Because now I'm wondering, like, is it following me? Like, it's a completely different place, completely different people. I don't even know anymore, but I'm tired. I just want to go and do my job and be done with it and go home. I don't want to take my job home. I don't want any extra drama that doesn't have to do with work. I mean, I don't even want any work drama. Like, don't call me with your drama. If you have problems and you don't want to talk to me like a human being, then I don't want to know. Also, I'm probably sweating right now because it's like 100 degrees out.